It's just good to have an esthetician take a look at your skin because especially nowadays, you can go on social media and there are so many influencers telling you, oh, you should try this. Oh, you should try this. Oh, this is bad. Don't do that. We're bombarded with so much information. And a good esthetician will actually take a look at your skin, assess what's going on. Especially for me, I understand the internal aspect of it too. So I can look and go, okay, your skin is reacting because you might have something going on with your gut or your hormones or your nervous system is dysregulated. So there's so many factors that go into it.
Hi, Redesigning Health and Home community. Welcome back to another Tuesday guest interview. Carrie and I are absolutely delighted to have Samantha Dench from Skin Deep Aesthetics join us today. I'll be doing this interview solo, but Carrie is cheering us on from behind the scenes. Samantha is a licensed esthetician and functional medicine practitioner with over 20 years of experience helping people get that clear, glowing skin by tackling things from the inside out. As the founder of Skin Deep Aesthetics, she brings a truly holistic vibe, connecting gut health, hormones, and lifestyle to real skin results. She also hosts her own podcast, The Functional Aesthetician, where she dives deep into those whole body connections that make such a difference. I am so excited to chat with her today about all of that and more. Let's jump right in. Welcome to Redesigning Health and Home. I'm Meg.
And I'm Carrie. We love creating beautiful, functional spaces and living healthy, vibrant lives. So join us as we chat about simple, practical ways to take care of your body, mind, and your home. Whether it's fitness tips, home decor ideas, or navigating those big life moments, we're here to share what works for us and what doesn't, with some encouragement along the way.
Let's redesign this life together, one step, one room, and one habit at a time. Carrie and I are so excited to welcome Samantha Dench to our show. Hi, Samantha. Can you take a moment to introduce yourself to our wonderful audience?
Hi, Meg. Thanks for having me. I've been an esthetician for 23 years, and I accidentally healed my adult acne when I healed my gut. So I had been an esthetician and was dealing with adult acne when I went off birth control to start my family. And, every pregnancy, my skin was clear. I was one of the lucky ones. But after baby number 3, my skin got really bad, and I'm an esthetician, so I know how to take care of acne. I'm doing the right treatments. I'm doing the right skincare, and my skin wasn't clearing up. So after 3 babies, I decided I was going to do a gut cleanse to clean out all the inflammatory foods and drop the baby weight, which I did. But also my skin cleared up within a week. And after a detox, again, we're human. We eat well for a while, and then those bad foods come sneaking back into your diet. So every time I'd eat inflammatory foods, my acne would come back. And so it was like, I think I'm onto something here. So I started testing it out on my acne clients, like, hey, maybe you should try eliminating certain foods. And the ones that were really good about it, their skin cleared up. And then the ones that weren't, it was kind of like a battle to get their skin to clear. So eventually that led me to study functional medicine. And so now I do functional medicine and aesthetics so I can treat the skin from the inside out.
That is wonderful. So your story led you to functional medicine.
Yes,
is that correct?
that's right.
So tell us a little bit, if we were to backtrack, how your passion for skin started.
It was by accident, to be honest. I went to esthetician school at 23. I was the kid who was like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And so I ended up falling in love with the science of the skin.
Fantastic. Yep. Now, you worked at a few different establishments,
Yep.
med spa, all the way to owning your own business. Can you guide us through that progression?
When I got my esthetician license in 2003, med spas were the new and upcoming thing. So I thought, I'm going to try that. And it was great. It was in the city of Chicago. The commute was hard, so that only lasted a couple of years. And then I decided I wanted to move back out to the suburbs. So I found a day spa, and I was very blessed because it was a small business. The owner took me under her wing. She taught me everything she knew. I mean, she was truly, it was the one that inspired me to continue to learn and get better at being an esthetician because she was amazing.
That's fantastic. Now, is that when you started your own private practice?
It was after my oldest was born. He was 2. So I had quit work to raise my family. I loved being a stay-at-home mom. I just am not the type of personality where I can just be a stay-at-home mom. I mean, I give moms so much credit because that's just not me. So I built a little room in the basement of my house and put him down for a nap and take a client. Put him to bed, take a couple clients. So I built my business around my kids' schedule.
Oh, what a gift. But
Yeah.
obviously, it was big enough for you to then think, I need to find a freestanding location. How did that process work?
I was kind of forced into it because I got divorced. So I moved out of my ex-husband's house. I moved the business from Elmhurst to Oak Brook. But actually, I was lucky because I had an esthetician friend who worked in the same building where my salon suite was. And she's like, oh, a room just opened up. She's like, I'll put in a good word with the landlord. And it was a wonderful experience. So I got really lucky. Yeah.
You had a friend who also had a salon
Yep.
suite.
Yep.
And did you have challenges during that time about staying busy, still staying active and certified or licensed? How was that up and down just starting a new business from scratch?
Yeah. I mean, it's always a challenge. And I feel like it was kind of before social media. So it was word of mouth. It was getting out. I would have little at the preschool, I would do stuff. At the gym, I would do stuff. I partnered with a chiropractor. So I was always trying to partner with local businesses. We would do events together because I worked out of my house at the beginning. So it was hard. You're unknown. Nobody knows you exist because they don't walk by your building. So I really had to work at building the business and building the relationships.
Well, I think you did because I remember finding you and the marketing and just your presence was really, I thought, this woman knows what she's doing. So your business grew and then a lot of other things started happening. When did you decide that you thought, I know so much about skin, I want to put it in writing, in a book? Was that all around at the same time?
Well, that started early on because when I started my business, I had a website and then I started a blog. So I always liked educating, especially my clients. Like I always loved teaching people about the skin. So I started blogging and then that eventually turned into a book.
And what is your book called and where can people find it since we're talking about that?
It's Skin Deep. And then it's on my website. I think it's still on Amazon too, but I know it's on my website.
Oh, that's great. So if I was to suggest this to a friend, what kind of information it will be in the book for us to explore?
It's very holistic. So it talks about like natural skin treatments. It has ingredients. It talks about gut health. It talks about, inflammatory foods. It covers a lot.
And speaking of covering a lot, you then developed a wonderful podcast. Can you share if this is a little extension from the book?
Yeah, the book I published in 2017. So the podcast kind of came about when I started studying functional medicine. I still have the blog, but I really wanted to create awareness about how our internal health affects our skin.
I know on your website, your blog is full of wonderful information. And I took a little bit of a deep dive into your podcast and your blog, and I hope everybody does. Tell us a little bit about skincare itself. If someone never had a facial in their life or any sort of service, what would your argument be to get a professional that can do the service and you have all the knowledge of the internal? Why would you argue for going to get that luxury service?
Well, with TikTok nowadays, there's so much information and everybody's a quote unquote skin expert. And I feel like you really can't get the information you need unless somebody looks at your skin and studies your skin. I mean, everyone thinks a facial is just laying down and having someone massage a bunch of stuff in your face, but it's really more than that. Like when I'm giving a facial, I'm studying your skin. I'm watching how your skin's responding to every product I put on there. I'm watching how it's responding to my touch. Is it turning red? Is your blood vessels dilating? Like all of that is telling me what's going on with your skin. So doing stuff at home, you can get results. But if you really, truly want to get to the root cause and really want to understand what's going on with your skin, you do need a professional to touch your skin.
So if I was to book a client with Skin Deep, and it's Skin Deep IL, is that correct?
That's my website, yes.
That's your website.
Yeah.
So if I was to book, whether on the phone or you have online booking,
Yep.
What would that process look like as far as that first initial submit to maybe walking out after the experience?
Yeah. Most of my clients book online, and then I have a consultation form for them to fill out. So I do kind of give a little bit of skin, a little bit of holistic health and internal wellness. So that way I have an idea of what might be triggering their skin issues when they come in. And then we sit down and chat for about 20, 30 minutes. Because I really want to understand like where they're at, what they've tried, like what are they using? Is it working? Is it not working? And kind of meet them where they are. And then from there, I give them their facial.
Oh, wow. So it's quite tailored
Yeah.
to each individual.
Yep.
During COVID, during times that things have closed down, I'm sure that really affected your industry. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about how you needed to pivot or explore different avenues. What did you do during that time?
We were shut down for what, 4 or 5 months, something like that. So I made these little at-home facial kits, I would send them out to clients. Like it had like a little enzyme in it, a couple serums. I had a mask in there so they could do their own facial. And I would send them little videos that would walk them through how to do it. So it was just something creative to keep me busy because I'm not one to sit still.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
really helpful. That's
Yeah.
really helpful. Tell me if someone, of course, isn't into thinking, oh, I can't, do a facial or I'm shy. Why would they want to book an appointment with you?
It's just good to have an esthetician take a look at your skin because, especially nowadays, you can go on social media and there are so many influencers telling you, oh, you should try this. Oh, you should try this. Oh, this is bad. Don't do that. It's like we're bombarded with so much information. And a good esthetician will actually take a look at your skin, assess what's going on. Especially for me, I understand the internal aspect of it too. So I can look and go, okay, your skin is reacting because you might have something going on with your gut or your hormones or, your nervous system is dysregulated. So there's so many factors that go into it.
At that point, I want to explore a little bit with
Yeah.
you. So if you recognize something could be internal,
Mm-hmm.
how do you suggest you offer testing? Tell me a little bit about how that, if I'm laying in your chair and you say, I
Yeah.
think something's going on inside,
Right.
what's that process look like?
Well, I start asking questions because I feel like that's how you get information out of people. I'll look at their skin I'm just going to use acne as an example.
Sure.
Like, oh, I see some breakouts on your cheeks. Do you break out on your cheeks all the time? Because cheeks tend to be more digestive or gut related.
Oh.
Certain areas of the face, there's this thing called face mapping. So certain areas of the face can reflect different organs of the body and can show up like what's going on. Like, for example, jawline. This is like all hormones. So if your neck and your jawline start breaking out and it's really painful to touch, that's typically a hormonal flare up. But usually when I see breakouts without blackheads or clogged pores, that's when it's like, okay, it's internal. It's not a topical issue.
Okay, so has functional medicine, has this really changed the way you do your facials?
Yes. Not so much the facial part, but how I actually can take care of people because if somebody's got gut issues going on, I can do a gut test on them. I can get those answers and figure out, okay, why is your gut inflamed? And it'll give me a full report. It's very extensive.
On your website, I see, do you have a 3-month program and a
Mhm.
6-month program?
Yes. Yes.
What would be the difference between those?
It just depends on personal preference. Some people just want to try it. They want to just see, is this going to work for me? Some people want a little bit more hand holding. I feel like it takes at least 6 months to get results because by the time we're having symptoms, by the time we're noticing issues, these things have been building for months or years. So it's not going to be an overnight fix. I know we have this theory where we have a symptom, we go to the doctor, we get a pill, and then it's supposed to make us feel better. Well, functional medicine looks at the symptom and we think, okay, why are you having that symptom? Like what is off in your body? Because all our systems of the body are connected. So if one system's off, it's eventually going to affect the rest of the systems, and then you're going to start showing symptoms. So it's like we kind of have to reverse engineer and go, okay, this is what is showing up on the testing. So this is the protocol. We're going to have you, adjust your diet. We're going to eliminate these foods, but we're going to give you these foods instead. Because I hate saying, get rid of everything, because you're not going to stick to a routine if you try to cut out everything from someone's diet. So I'll say, I don't want you to eat these foods because these are really bad or causing some of the inflammation, but these foods will help support you so you don't feel deprived. And then it's nervous system. It's getting more sleep. It's going outside for walks around the block or just 15 minutes of light walking. It could be yoga stretching. It doesn't have to be extensive, but there's all these other pieces that can impact how your body heals.
Have you seen some success stories?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Tell us maybe just one.
Yeah.
Obviously, no names, but tell us a little bit about who came in and what you saw and what they did and what kind of result they got.
Yeah. I'll use my sister because she's been my longest client.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So she's been having perimenopausal issues. And so, she's got the weight gain, she's starting to break out. She's got the mood swings going on. And so, she's like, will you help me? Maybe you can try to figure something out. And I'm like, great. I'd actually tested her hormones and found the imbalances, and I was able to adjust her diet a little bit. She was already eating pretty clean. And I feel like that's typically when a woman comes to see me, they're eating right. They're restricting their diet. They're trying to eat as super healthy and clean as possible. They're going to the gym like 5-6 days a week, doing really crazy HIIT workouts and strength training and all this stuff. And it's like, why am I gaining weight? What is going on? So she was like, that's like the typical woman, I feel like nowadays. So I adjusted her diet and put her on some supplements. And within 3 weeks, she lost like 6 pounds. And she's got more energy, and she's sleeping better. I mean, her skin's cleared up. She's just in such a better place.
Oh, that is a success story.
Yeah.
Nice work. So that's so rewarding to see that with your industry and just getting your hands on somebody and you see just a wonderful outcome.
Yep.
Now, I want to go back to a little bit about during COVID.
Yeah.
Some of the at-home devices started coming about, which is great because people were home and they wanted to take care of their skin. What would your professional advice be for someone that's just going and picking up these different devices?
Yeah, I feel like they've come a long way since the red light. I feel like those are actually really good. The difference is something you buy over the counter versus a spa treatment. The depth of frequency is a little bit more intense when you go to a spa, because obviously if you're going to put it in the hands of somebody that's untrained, they're going to overuse it. They're not going to use it correctly. So it can't be as strong, but it'll still it's strong enough to give you results.
Oh, wonderful. Then let's bring these devices into your facility, the professional grade.
Yeah.
What kind of services would I see or be offered at your spa?
So I do red light therapy. My biggest, most popular treatment is microcurrent. And then I do dermaplaning, I do peels, I do light peels, and then I do microchanneling.
Can you explain a little bit about the differences of those?
Microchanneling is less aggressive than microneedling. So for those who have had it done, it's a device where it kind of it scrapes on the face back and forth. So it's got a little bit of suction. And then the needles kind of poke holes in the skin. Because what it's doing is it's pushing product in and it's stimulating collagen to rebuild. Microchanneling is a stamp. So it just goes up and down on the skin. So it's doing the same thing as microneedling. It's just not as aggressive because you don't have that vacuum or that suction. So I feel like there's less damage to the surface.
Oh, this is making me think of the at-home service. You'd probably want to do it at a professional location because maybe even of cleanliness.
Yeah. Those at-home microneedling devices actually freak me out. I think to myself, you're going to get bacteria into your skin. I mean, everything I touch is sterile. So I don't know how sterile that a device somebody using at home is.
Well, that's right where my mind went. And then the microcurrent, big big now. You're
Yes,
saying that's your most popular. Is
it
that
is.
an add-on to a facial,
Yep.
or do people just come in for that?
You could do either or. I have clients that come monthly for microcurrent facials, and then I have clients that just like the treatment alone. Yeah.
What is the benefit of the microcurrent?
So it stimulates collagen, but my favorite part of it is it lifts and builds muscles. So it's like a gym workout for your face muscles. So
Oh,
it'll give you that lift. It'll smooth out the wrinkles. It'll help, kind of give you that like, oh, I look younger appearance.
perfect.
Yeah.
Wow, this all sounds
Yeah.
great. Now, are these some sort of topics you talk about in your current podcast?
I have. I don't think I've talked about microcurrent yet.
But you talk mostly about the functional medicine side of your business?
I talk about both. I've had a couple estheticians on. So we do talk about skincare. We try to talk about everything. Yeah.
I listened to many, many
Mm,
episodes, and I felt like I was in class with you, but in the
yeah.
very best way possible, where I'm serious. I wanted to take all these notes. I was learning so much.
Mm,
You're almost guiding your listeners as if they're learning about the skin and functional medicine right along with you.
well, thank you.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
If someone listening wanted to start a skin treatment right now, what would your best advice be for them?
I always start with the facial because I don't like to do aggressive treatments. Like I don't like doing dermaplaning or microchanneling on somebody that I've never worked on because I don't know what state their skin barrier is. A lot of times when you're using over the counter products or you're trying stuff at home, you're breaking down your barrier and your skin barrier is everything. So it's like if I'm going to do something a little bit more aggressive, I want to make sure that your skin's healthy.
Do you start with a sensitive line, or are you just taking one step at a time during that
Yeah.
that
Yep.
first facial?
Simplify their skincare because most women come to me and they have like 10 or 12 steps. So I'm always like, you don't need that many. Your skin is an organ and we don't think of it as an organ. We just start throwing a bunch of stuff at it like, oh, I need to fix this and this and this. And it's like, if you just slow it down and give your skin just the few key things it needs, it's going to actually heal and repair itself.
That leads me to getting a facial or one of these services is almost a luxury.
Yeah.
But I can also see the flip side where someone's going to a big box store or their local drugstore
Mm-hmm.
and they're probably buying product after product where maybe you would suggest the facial and one or two products.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the products that are in those big box stores or at the drugstore?
Yeah. I mean, we could do a whole episode on that. um, so the interesting thing about skincare is that most of these companies own all the brands and they're basically the same product. They're just packaged and labeled and marketed differently. Even in the professional world, there's a lot of professional skincare brands that are available just for estheticians and spas that are almost identical. So it's like at this stage, you almost really need to know what kind of product you're working with.
Well, that's very smart. I will
Yeah.
tell you a little side story. It was a high-end brand, and retinol, that was the big
Yep.
word before. And I think my skin was just peeling off. I could almost
Mhm.
not even go out because I didn't
Yeah.
know what I was doing.
Right.
Where if I would have come to you and you
Mhm.
had your wonderful hands and knowledge, the knowledge is probably the biggest part,
Mhm.
to just, like you said, let's slow it down. Let's see how your body reacts and your
Yep.
skin reacts to these few products. And so let's say you go through that facial. Are you still sending people home with a lot of products?
It depends on what they need. Some people come to me and their skin barrier is pretty compromised. So I will strip it down and just send them home with a cleanser and moisturizer for 30 days. Other clients, they might need a little bit more. They might be coming to me have already done treatments or are using different products that are okay for them. And so then I can add in some serums to like specifically target certain things.
Oh, fantastic. Now, if our listeners or some of your clients start with a facial,
Mhm.
what's your recommendation for protocol?
Yeah. Monthly facials are best, but I do have a lot of clients that'll come every 6 to 8 weeks or quarterly.
Now, I'm thinking quarterly because of the
Mhm.
seasons change.
Right. Yeah.
So tell us how really dryness, humidity, what's going on inside and outside?
Yeah. Yeah, especially in Chicago. We go from super humid and hot summers to cold and dry winters. So our skincare needs to change from season to season. If you're living in Nevada or somewhere where it's like dry all the time, your skincare is pretty consistent because the weather doesn't really change. So you do need to adapt because in the summer, there's humidity. So our skin is nice and plump. There's moisture in the air. So our skin stays hydrated. In the winter, there's less humidity. And so, we're running our heater to keep the house warm, and it's pulling moisture from the skin because it's got to suck water somewhere. So it's like having a humidifier in your room can really counteract that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, this is making me think of just cleansers. So you would
Mhm.
even guide someone because you know if it has alcohol in it
Yep.
and I remember hearing from you once that you were saying it's not necessarily the cleanser itself, or I'm sure that's a big
Right.
part of it, but it's the massage
Yep.
and the movement. So do you teach your clients exactly how they should be washing their face?
Mhm. I
Mm.
do. Yeah. And most of my clients now, I'll put them in either an oil or cream cleanser because most people, you and I both grew up with the generation where we stripped our skin using Noxzema pads and sea breeze and all those crazy aggressive products. And a lot of clients our age will come to us and they're still using those kind of products because they don't know the difference. And I take someone off a gel cleanser and I give them a cream cleanser and they're like, well, how am I going to wash my face? I'm like, no, no,
Okay.
no, it's not about the cleanser because we have this thought that if it's foamy, that's what's going to clean our skin. But it's the opposite. It's the way we're massaging our face. That's what's stimulating the pores to get rid of the dirt and oil.
Well, that's brilliant because
Yeah.
yes, I've
Right?
always been a scrubber thinking this
Hmm.
is what's going to get that
Yep.
dirt off or, those little whiteheads, blackheads
Yep.
off. Do you do extractions? Can I ask?
I do. Yes.
You
I love doing
do?
extractions.
Well, Samantha, your business has
Mhm.
blossomed from, like you said, working in the med spa all the way to then getting under the best care from a mentor that you loved.
Yes.
And what a testament to her that you grew this incredible business and an author, functional medicine, now this wonderful podcast you have. Can you share with our audience where they can find you?
My social media handles and my website are all the same. It's at SkinDeepIL. And you can find my podcast on my website.
And remind us the name of your podcast.
The Functional Aesthetician.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we will definitely make sure we put all of it in the show notes. It was a pleasure speaking with you, Samantha. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Meg.
Thanks for listening to the Redesigning Health and Home podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, we would love for you to like, share, and follow along so you can catch us on all future episodes. You can find me, Meg, at Fit, Fed, Feeling Good on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And you can find me, Carrie, on my website at homestylewithcarrie.com and on Instagram and Facebook at homestylewithcarrie. That's Kerri. And you can find both of us at Redesigning Health and Home on Instagram and Facebook. So join us next time for more inspiration on creating a home and a lifestyle that truly supports your best health.
The information and content discussed is educational and not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always seek guidance from your physician and qualified healthcare provider.